Rudi Keller at Civil War Gov. Greitens' conduct, detailed in the latest report from a legislative investigating committee, puts the General Assembly on firmer legal ground for impeaching the governor, former Missouri Supreme Court Chief Justice and St. Louis University Law School Dean Mike Wolff said Friday. Wolff, a Democrat, interprets the Missouri Constitution's language on impeachment to require an offense while in office. That wasn't proven in the first report, issued April 11, of the House Special Investigating Committee on Oversight led by State Rep. J. Barnes, R. Jefferson City, he wrote in an article published soon afterward in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. The new report, and again these are just allegations, gets a lot closer to where the language of the Constitution is, Wolff said Friday. University of Missouri law professor Frank Bowman, who has written extensively on the legal grounds for impeachment in a blog, doesn't think impeachment requires an act while in office. That would create the absurd result of an officeholder who could not be removed for crimes committed to obtain office, he said. Logic just doesn't support the notion that you can't impeach someone for pre-office conduct. Bowman said, that would be madness. Greitens, a Republican, is charged with felonies in two separate cases in St. Louis Circuit Court. The first, which will go on trial May 14, alleges invasion of privacy by Greitens for photographing a woman without her consent during a sexual encounter in March 2015 at his street. The second, which does not have a trial date, charges Greitens with computer tampering for the way his campaign obtained a donor list from the Mission Continues, a veterans charity founded by Greitens that is barred by law from political activity. The first report from Barnes' committee covered testimony it received regarding the invasion of privacy charge. The second, issued Wednesday, summarizes the committee's investigation of the donor list, including testimony by Daniel Laub, one-time political consultant for Greitens, that alleges efforts to conceal how the list was obtained continued after Greitens became governor. Along with its summary reports, Barnes' committee has released hundreds of pages of testimony transcripts. All of its hearings have been conducted in closed session. The Republican-controlled General Assembly on Thursday, for the first time, invoked a 1988 constitutional amendment allowing it to call itself into special session to consider additional reports and possible impeachment articles from Barnes' committee. The committee has hired former Missouri Supreme Court Judge Chip Robertson, who participated in the 1994 impeachment trial of Secretary of State Judy Moriarty, as its counsel. In an impeachment, the Missouri House considers whether there is sufficient evidence of an impeachable offense that the officeholder must answer for it at trial. A majority, 82 members, is required to pass articles of impeachment. The trial of a governor is conducted by 7 eminent jurists, selected by the state Senate from current appeals and circuit court judges, with 5 votes required for conviction. Under Missouri law, if Greitens is impeached, he would be suspended from performing the duties of his office but would continue to hold the title of governor and receive his salary. Lieutenant Governor Mike Parson would become acting governor. The suspension would continue until the conclusion of his impeachment trial. The disagreement between Wolff and Bowman is rooted in the constitutional language stating the grounds for impeachment. Missouri's first constitutions allowed impeachment for any misdemeanor in office, language expanded in 1875 to cover high crimes or misdemeanors, and for misconduct, habits of drunkenness, or oppression in office. Under the current charter, approved by voters in 1945, impeachment is the remedy for crimes, misconduct, habitual drunkenness, willful neglect of duty, corruption in office, incompetency, or any offense involving moral turpitude or oppression in office. Some of the phrases are clearly intended to address offenses while in office, Bowman said. In addition to the phrases where in office appears, the others are misconduct, drunkenness, neglect of duty, and incompetency. In one blog post, he wrote that incompetency could only be applied to the duties of the office or it could be invoked for inability to cook. It is badly drafted language, there is no getting around that. Bowman said, if the grounds allowing impeachment for crimes or an offense of moral turpitude only meant actions while in office, the governor's office could, in theory, be a prison cell, Bowman said. A state law automatically removing officeholders convicted of a felony does not apply to offices subject to impeachment. You could convict him of crime, put him in prison, but you can't remove him from office, Bowman said. I think the position is just an untenable one. The House ultimately will be the judge of what it considers adequate grounds for impeachment, Wolff said. He's just not convinced the invasion of privacy charge, based on conduct in 2015, would stand on its own if charged by the House, he said. The testimony released by Barnes' committee includes material that could become the basis of sex offense allegations. He said, "The problem with the sex stuff standing by itself is that is really unrelated to him being elected governor or serving as governor," Wolff said. "Another problem is the drafting of the Constitution," Wolff said, "especially the last phrase, any offense involving moral turpitude or oppression in office. A comma stuck in there someplace would have helped." Wolff said. Keller at ColumbiaTribune.com 573-815-1709